So we're here with Tyson McDowell outside the Carpellis Manuscript Library in Santa Barbara, where he's been rehearsing for his TEDx Santa Barbara talk, which is going to happen this Saturday. Tyson is going to be talking about preserving humanity as artificial intelligence takes us over. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, and we're talking to you because Fielding we're particularly interested in your talk because Fielding has a master's, a PhD, and a certificate in media psychology.
Okay.
So artificial intelligence is something that that program is really interested in.
Oh,
and
good.
He sent me some questions to ask you.
Great.
Okay.
Go for it.
So you're a serial tech entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It has you described as. What does that mean exactly?
That just means that I have a huge passion for entrepreneurship as a thing.
Okay.
And bringing tech innovation into the world requires a lot of it, and so I do that all the time in lots of different ways.
Excellent. Okay,
Yeah.
great. And can you tell us a little bit about what's the basic premise of your talk?
The basic premise is really that AI partnered with humans is the greatest advance in the human capability that we've ever seen. And right now it's kind of turning us into jerks.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to. So we need to inflect that right now because there's kind of an acceleration of its impact on us. So we just have to take control of it and use it for good.
Right.
And we'll be fine then.
It was Ray Kurzweil, right, who was famous for saying that man and machine were going to merge.
Yeah, Kurzweil, there's a lot of singularity thinking out there. There are lots of points of view on this.
So is that a bad thing? Do you agree with that?
I agree with it completely. One of the reasons I'm doing this talk is because so many of these conversations are about later, and a lot of them kind of say, oh, when robots show up and we'll have like robot parts and all. You know, this AI has been manipulating us since 2010, and it's really messing with our kids. So instead of talking about the Terminator in 20 years, we need to be talking about the Terminators we created 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And that's just not discussed, and it's also not well understood even in the technical communities, because the tech people argue about what's good, what is AI. But I can tell you that as a user, AI is any technology that thinks on your behalf, no matter how it does it. And the moment that technology can think on your behalf, and then it drives most of the information you get about the world, that gives it de facto power to shape you.
Right.
And right now, we don't even know what's happening as a user.
Okay.
So it's a great thing as long as the user's a part of it.
Okay. And what can we do to make that happen and continue to be a part of it?
Well, of course, technology can change in some really important ways. The number one is actually trust the user, and just for AI to show up and say, I'm here. So little stamps can understand what's going on, and also for the AI to be able to say, this is what I think of you, do you agree?
Got it.
There are other things that people can do right now today, and really what I'm trying to point out is, I like doing it like this. When I go see my grandmother, I am my best self. It's my grandma, you know, I want to really impress her.
Right.
We have to be that way online all the time because we're showing off for AI that then takes all of our patterns and multiplies that thousands of times over. We can't afford to slip and not be good humans online anymore because then that pattern drives right into our kids.
That's so interesting. Where do you expect the business of artificial intelligence to go? What direction is that headed?
I think it's going to become wickedly profitable. You know, it's scary for big companies that have a lot of scale to opt the user in. And what really goes on, the best advertising converts, what's called conversion, when people actually click it and pay for it, you know, 5 to 20%. Well, if AI is so darn smart, why isn't it 80%? Why isn't it 100%?
Right.
If we can just trust people and let them be a part of it and opt in to being manipulated and say, I want to be manipulated this way and that way, they're going to become better. Those ads are going to convert way more. People will actually buy stuff that works for them, you know, as opposed to being sold a bill of goods that's fake. They'll actually get something that's authentic. So I think the business of AI is going to super explode as long as it trusts the user to be a part of deciding what they want. It doesn't do that right now.
That makes sense. So a couple of the people in the media psychology program had a question for you, and that's, where is artificial intelligence sort of on the hype curve? Like with many newer technologies, you sometimes get that the promise is ahead of the reality. Are we there yet?
Yeah, so that's where this thing about what artificial intelligence are we talking about comes into play. So the type of artificial intelligence that I'm talking about that's already messing with us has been around for 30 years plus. It's the same stuff that drives credit scores. The difference is that this AI actually controls what information you get to see every day, day in and day out. So it makes the yeah, you're kind of like this, become, oh no, that's how you become, for real. Other AI, like the panacea of, self-driving cars or magically figuring things out, that's a little bit on the hype side. I think that that's all fine. I kind of prefer to talk about the stuff that's really manipulating us right now, because people are talking about the hype as opposed to the old.
Right. When we start to talk about this kind of thing, it gets a little scary, and in movies sometimes, in the media, we think about AI in terms of this like scary looming thing, but it obviously can be used for a lot of good purposes.
Yeah.
What are some of the advances and great things that AI can give us?
Well, that is the nature of my entrepreneurship. I choose to use AI to make better humans. One of the most difficult places for people to win is through nutrition. 80% of their health is really, and I believe, related to nutrition. And I like talking about, I come from healthcare finance actually. That was my first business. And someone would go to the doctor and the doctor would say, well, you're pre-diabetic, so you better eat better. And they freak out and they go home and they buy everything that's gluten-free and non-GMO. But they're consuming highly refined sugars and they're liver bombing themselves, and they're going to get diabetes. The AI can cut through that crap. Well, it can. Right now, AI decides what product recommendations you get on Amazon.
Right.
Why can't they be perfectly aligned with your metabolic state and what's going to truly drive your underlying healthful behavior? You can still buy a hamburger, but why doesn't hamburger all of a sudden fulfill as a vegan meat burger with a, if that's really important to your underlying feelings? We also can manipulate people into being better leaders and be more inclusive, so that women and diverse points of view can actually win in leadership in the biggest companies in the world. We can manipulate millennials into actually making the most out of their very first career instead of getting mad at work, because that's all about behaviors around relationship development and communication style, that's last mile education. And AI can tell people how to be all the time. So those are some examples of how we use it.
That's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to this talk coming up on Saturday.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.